Bonjour, hello everyone. I'm Nata, host of the Nata PR School podcast. You're a successful entrepreneur or marketing manager and you're about to launch a new product or service, or you've been selling your goods for quite some time, but you want to learn how to increase your visibility, get known, and reach more clients? At Nata PR, we deal with real clients every day and we'll teach you simple, fun, and honest PR solutions. You'll learn easy steps to combine PR to social media right now. Keep listening and let's get started. Bonjour, hello, and welcome to this 60th episode of the Nata PR School podcast. TV, still on top. As you probably know by now, I love sharing what's happening at our agency, Nata PR, with you. Especially when I know it's something you can use in your daily choices to increase your visibility, something that's going to be a fun information for you, something you can really use right away. So this time I've decided to talk about television because this is what we experience and it's in all our strategic plans. TV still tops the list of the most powerful media. It's really the number one traditional media for sure. Why? Because nothing can match a story that's aired during a primetime newscast. No matter what countries or regions in the world you live in, you probably know that, or if you don't, keep listening because TV is extremely powerful. There's nothing more powerful than that. And for several years now, all the news shows, we forget about that, but they have been broadcasting their stories online. So TV is also on internet now, most of them. You may know by now that we have an office in Miami, one in Toronto, and one in Montreal. And during the pandemic, I decided to stay in Montreal. And what I love to watch on my own iPad is the news, the French news. I love watching the 8 o'clock news on France 2, what they call in French, le 20 heures, the 8 o'clock. The 20 heures, I love it for different reasons. Why? My first reason is I love finding out about upcoming trends. Not so long ago, I heard Keurig, the founder of Keurig, saying that they would no longer use furs. So that was on the news. So I'm like, okay, this is a big trend. It's going to happen here too as well. So I love hearing what's happening in Europe, in France, and in the States as well. But there are different trends, and I know them by reading the newspaper here. But watching the news, to me, le 20 heures is really exceptional. Also, it really gives me a head start on the next public health measures that will be put in place in the US and Canada to curb COVID because they do it before us. As you probably know now, pandemic started from the west, from the east to the west, from Asia to North America. And even today, what all the measures that are put in place in Europe happen before we do it in North America. So this is really extremely interesting. That I think I did a podcast on that, and it really helped me make decisions that really, really give me a business advantage. So finding out about the trends is super important, even during COVID. All this to say that, is TV losing steam? Yes, TV is losing steam, but although viewers' number did rise during the pandemic, so we think I don't think it's going to be as what it was before, obviously, but this is something we know. Like people from 15-24 are leaving TV behind. And why? They do stay informed, but through social media more and more. And maybe you're like me if you're listening to this podcast. I'd say for sure that I'm the only person at the agency who still has a TV set worthy of the name. You're probably in the same situation as me. So all my young employees, those 35 and under, just replay TV on their computer whenever they want. And you probably also have a CD reader player like me. So if you have a TV and a CD player, you're probably my age. Still, there's one exception though. Listen to this. This is so interesting. So even if they don't watch TV at a certain time, according to the schedule that we used to know, there's an exception for reality TV, of course. I don't know why, but it is a real phenomenon. And I think it's really interesting to talk about it in this podcast because all of my young employees no longer watch TV, but they will make an exception and sit in front of a computer or an old TV at a certain date and time to watch their favorite reality show. Crazy, no? Even if they know that it's all, fake and that the contestants are leaving their tape 24/7 and, everything is montage, so it's all set up, right? But these reality shows, they go, as you probably know, from different teams. And I guess, the one where you you can find your soulmate, the one where you can find the love of your life is probably the most popular one, if I'm not mistaken. But, there are other type of reality shows, those who you have those races around the world, different competitions that goes from cooking, singing, hairdressing, even business. And viewers really get involved in these stories. And I love asking my young employees, so what happened last, let's say, Sunday during this reality TV show? There's one called Occupation Double. Double occupation. It's like two houses. You have a group of girl and women who's going to be matched with whom. So now they're switching houses, crazy. So I'm asking all this because I don't want to watch the show and I want to know what's happening in it. So I love asking them over lunch. So what happened last week? Oh, and they talk about it to each about themselves. So it's really almost like a religion to watch those reality shows. And those participants also, it's crazy. They decided and they do that. They want to participate. Why? Because they strongly believe it's going to help them start a career, get known, and become famous instantly. It does happen to few of them, but for some of them, yes. But those who are really smart created their own Facebook, Instagram, TikTok account before they were selected to take part in these reality shows. And this is where they hope that when they are in this show, that their fans, they will create this crazy base of fans. People will follow them on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And this is after the show is done. If they are smart enough, they can sometimes create their own company selling whatever they want to sell or partner with also large corporations sometimes. Interesting, right? And if today some of our clients are still skeptical about TV, then we have so many case studies for them. And of course, this is not something. It's never been easy to convince a TV show or a newsroom to decide to talk about what you're proposing. But when it happens, it's really magical. And this is when my clients want to do it more and more. So we don't know, in a way, what shape or form the next generations will consume what we still call TV. Maybe we won't even call it TV in a few years. But as I say always, we don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. But what we know now is these platforms are still there, they're available, and they're powerful. So we should take advantage of them, right? And, we'll adjust. We'll find new ways of promoting yourself. Don't worry. I've been around for 30 years now, and I created Nata 20 years ago. And this is what we've been doing. I remember when internet didn't exist and when it appeared, how we adapted. So, we'll see what's going to happen, but let's take advantage of TV today. And let me share with you some numbers. I really like what, let's call it the French Center for the Observation of the Society. French Center of Observation of the Society. In French, if you want to know, it's le Centre d'Observation de la Société. So I love those independent groups because they do surveys, studies, and this is what they found out. So it has long had competition, and TV really had competition already with all kinds of screens, computer, video games. And so until recently, they seemed complementary, all of these TV, video games, computer. It was total screen time, total screen viewership that increased. What was true yesterday, though, isn't quite the same today. Why? People only have so much time in a day. And the internet, of course, is taking up more and more of our time. Another independent group called Médiamétrie, this is what they say and found, that individuals used to spend 1 hour 37 minutes per day on internet. Not used to, but are spending 1 hour 37 per day. That's probably like 2000, and I'm sure it's more now, especially through the pandemic. It's probably close to 2 hours a day, compared to 50 minutes in 2012 and 20 minutes a decade ago. So you see the increase. We went from 50 to 1 hour 37. I'm sure it's close to 2 hours for sure, especially because of the pandemic. All this to say that, of course, internet, all these platforms are becoming more interesting. They're sharing better content. If you think about Netflix and all those huge companies proposing TV shows, movies. So, of course, we're spending more time. And what's also interesting is the stagnation of time spent in front of the TV, all ages combined. It really masks a very sharp drop since 2012. This is where it started really to go down, especially, of course, with those 15-34, as we just mentioned before. So the 15-34, it went from their time spent in front of TV went from 2 hours, 45 minutes to 1 hour, 53 minutes in 2019. It's still going to go down for sure, but, TV is still on top. So let's take advantage of it. So we know that for the youngest and the 15-24, PCs, smartphones really are where they find their information. This is what they use to consume whatever they can find, information, leisure. So they spend more time on internet than in front of TV. And YouTube has become probably one of their favorite channels. Kind of a new TV, right? And many teenagers still love YouTube. Voila. But don't forget, TV is still powerful. So include it in your promotion plan. I hope you've enjoyed this show, that you've learned a few things that you can implement in your daily business, in your marketing plan. And I hope you'll be there next week. And of course, if you want to chat with me, tell me what your problem is, you can always schedule a call for a free consultation. I have a few every week. I love to hear from you and find out what you're looking for. So, j'espère que vous serez là la semaine prochaine. Hopefully, you'll join me next week. Thank you. Hey, you want to learn more about how to implement PR strategies? Head on to natapr.com and get on our list. You will also receive the Nata PR model on how to create a successful PR campaign. If you want to become a client, just send us an email to nata@natapr.com. Talk to you next week. À la semaine prochaine.